Hey everybody. I just wanted to make a quick little video to wrap up this week number 5. Okay, and so today, right? Pardon me. Finishing up this week, right? Thinking about kind of what we started with, kind of orienting ourselves to this question of personal identity, and then having the various kind of approaches that Olson draws us to, right? And again, kind of thinking about what those are and kind of how those matter and why those matter. Okay? And then kind of taking a little bit of a transition where Wednesday and Thursday, looking at the documentary of Three Identical Strangers. And now, having watched the film, I can kind of speak a little more freely on it, so as not to, give any spoilers away. But clearly, there's much more going on in the documentary, kind of outside the question of identity, right? And we think about like research ethics, we think about a whole host of issues, right? But I do think that documentary provides a really interesting take on that kind of question of nature and nurture, and a little bit of, do our genes, does our genetic makeup kind of affect more, or is it how we are raised, or clearly it's both? But again, does one matter more than the other? And that's a tough question, right? Like that's a tough question, especially if you have, let's say, some hereditary issues that are passed down in your family, right? Knowing that like you can't really do anything about that, and that's clearly going to shape who you are. It's clearly going to shape how you exist in the world, and there's nothing you can do about that, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of a challenging question. At least physiologically speaking, there's maybe nothing you can do about it. Maybe psychologically, again, kind of depending on how you approach that, how you kind of like take that on, etc. And thinking about that then, right, and kind of like wrapping up this week, I hope that we've kind of like oriented ourselves in a place that does feel meaningful and that does feel kind of worthwhile to explore these questions on identity. Next week, our sixth and final week for the class, we're going to get more trippy on this question, which I think some of you will have fun with. And definitely maybe is more so of like the real metaphysics that maybe some of you are craving for. But I hope that you at least have enjoyed kind of like, finding a place this week to dive into some metaphysical questions about identity. And it'll set us up nicely for next week. So good luck on your paper this weekend. And I hope you all have a nice weekend.